The OA doesn't begin like a typical sci-fi story. It begins with a disappearance. A young woman vanishes without a trace. Gone for years. No answers, no body, no explanation. And when she finally returns, she doesn't come back the same. She calls herself the OA. And maybe the most unsettling part, she was blind before she disappeared, and now she can see. From the outside, it feels like a miracle, but the longer you sit with it, the more it starts to feel like something else. Something harder to explain. Something that doesn't quite fit into the rules we understand. Because Prairie, or OA, doesn't just come back with her sight. She comes back with a story, and it's not the kind of story you can tell casually. It's the kind you only share in pieces, carefully, with people who are willing to believe you, or at least willing to listen. She gathers with a small group, outsiders, in their own ways, people who don't quite belong where they are. A group of teenagers drifting through their own lives, along with a teacher who probably didn't expect to be pulled into something like this. And what she tells them begins to unfold like a puzzle. Not all at once, not clearly, but fragmented. Memories of confinement, of experiments, of something happening just beyond the edge of death. Something scientific, but also deeply strange. As if the boundaries between life and something other are thinner than we've been told. There's a man at the center of it. Quiet, controlled, obsessive. Not a villain in the traditional sense, but someone who is driven by a question so consuming that everything else becomes secondary. What happens when we die? And more importantly, is that the end? The show doesn't hand you answers. It lets the mystery build slowly, layering tension in a way that feels almost hypnotic. You're constantly trying to piece it together. What's real? What's not? What it all means. And just when you think you understand the rules, it shifts. That's where the sci-fi really comes in. Not in a flashy, futuristic way, but in something more unsettling. The idea that reality might be more flexible than we think. That time, consciousness, identity, those things might not be as fixed as we've always believed. It leans into questions that feel bigger than the story itself. What connects people? What carries over? And how far would someone go to prove that there's something beyond this life? But what makes it stick with you isn't just the mystery, it's the characters. They're not heroes, they're not chosen in any obvious way. They're just people. Lonely, searching, trying to understand their place in the world. And somehow, they get pulled into something that feels much larger than them. And once they're in it, there's no clean way out. The tone gets darker and deeper as you go. More uncertain, more intense, because at some point, it stops being about whether the story is true, and it starts being about what it means if it is. It's the kind of show that doesn't just ask you to watch. It asks you to believe something, even when you're not sure you should.